Well, forget sanctions. Former Representative Michele Bachmann says the only way to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon is to bomb their facilities with our own nukes. Take a listen. We're going to set up her rationale.
The United States have pledged that we are going to be the defenders of Iran's nuclear program. So that should then mean that we're going to pledge our money, our treasury, that we're going to back them up, and our soldiers.
She goes on to say, I tell you, if I was president of the United States, it would take me half a nanosecond. We would send our military equipment and do what has to be done. And in 8 weeks, the whole discussion would be over. The Iranian program would be done and the world would be free from that menace. She shares a sentiment that people have about this nuclear program. It actually didn't technically pass the House. And she's setting this up. Her rationale here, though, Nick, is that we should just bomb them because that's the only way. And also, I want to point this out. She says, that's called peace. That's not called war. Last time I checked, when you invade a country and bomb it, that's by definition war.
If other countries doing, not if it's the U.S.
Right.
It's okay if it's the
We're
U.S.
on a peace mission if we're bombing.
I mean, that rationale in itself, what better way to prove to the world, and Iran especially, that you don't need nukes by nuking them? That makes no sense. And by saying, you know, you don't need nukes, you got to get rid of your program, or we're just going to nuke you, that's just not the way you do things. And I think she just proved to everyone in a nanosecond that this woman is not the brightest.
I mean, we're talking about a woman, though, that sat on the House Intel Committee who actually, this would come before her as a representative, and she would have the, you know, some decisive measure over something like this. You know, just to hear her rationale of we should bomb them, and she's calling it a peace mission, technically. I want to point out something else that she said that was really troubling. She goes on to say, there is only one tried and true method that stops a rogue nation from getting a nuclear bomb, and it's this. It is for a country like the United States to take our military superiority and to go into that country and to drop bombs on their nuclear hardware and to destroy it. She's saying that, you know what, the only way for us to do this is just to bomb the hell out of them.
Right, and then what you quoted her earlier of saying is we're just going to go in there, the whole thing will be done, you know, swam, bam, thank you, man, we're out of there.
They're not going to retaliate or anything.
No,
I wouldn't think they would.
It's going to go so smoothly. I think, I'd like to think that we learned something from the previous decades, right, that invading the Middle East only leads to more hatred of the U.S. It does not do the opposite, and I wish less people held that sentiment in this country, but unfortunately a lot of people are going to stand behind her and say, hell yeah.
Right.
You're right. We got to bomb those Iranians.
Well, you know, not to give this Iranian nuclear deal a free pass because it is largely based, you know, on faith and we're holding out a diplomatic hand here.
Yes.
What I like to see, because there's so much misinformation and media spin when it comes to this deal, I wish that someone in the administration would take the terms of the deal and go public with all of it in its entirety, because these things aren't fluid. They're not open for interpretation. Either they're true or they're not. And you know, this should be public. In my opinion, a FOIA request should be made if that's the process that would take for this to become public, so that this type of misinformation doesn't continue to circulate.
No, of course, and it's sad that people who have these positions of power, like Michele Bachmann, for example, can't see past everything and see that that's the way politics work, that there is a plan here. It's not that we're just giving, you know, a free pass to this big country that is the biggest sponsor of state terrorism in the world, and they're evil and they want to nuke us. It's like, there's more to that. And bombing them simply isn't the answer.
Tried and true method for stopping those rogue nations right there. Well, we'd love to know what you think at home about this story. Also, if you get a minute, take a look at this entire video clip of her rationale. You know, it's too much information just to give it all away right here, but that video is really worth a look just to follow her train of thought. While you're at it, be sure to check out the rest of our channel and subscribe to the Lib TV for more.